bibs. Because, of course, that's how I start videos. Alright. We're going to do the one villainous thing as I put my thumb in the way of the damn picture. You can't see my face. So, we picked Thoth Doom. Though, actually, the character's more played as Connan Doom or something because it's in the Conan thing. But in the movie, he was called Thoth Doom, though Thoth Doom looks more like a different well-known wizard in literature. Namely, Skeletor area. That's more like what Thoth Doom would look like in the actual literature, and he's more from the Kroll stories than from the Conan stories, but that's not important. You see, we're talking about, of course, the Conan movie that we all know and love from the 80s. And just watch this brilliant speech that James Earl Jones gives as Thoth Doom. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but whatever.
He raised that snake from the time it was born.
Shit.
You killed my mother. You killed my father. You killed my people. You took my father's sword.
It must have been when I was younger. There was a time, boy, when I searched for steel. And steel meant more to me than gold or jewels.
The acting here is superb, and also, while they're doing the riddle of steel thing, and what they're going to say again later is going to be about, flesh, but he's not really saying flesh is powerful. It's the control he has over these people is the real power he's talking about. Thoth Doom here has all these cultists in the palm of his hand, and he can get them to do anything he wants. And he's letting Conan know that, but he's doing it in such a way that the people are still not realizing it. Conan realizes it. Of course, the way Conan is played in this movie isn't quite like he's in the books. When Momoa was in that Game of Thrones movie, that TV show, that was more of how Conan actually fits in the books. But anyway, we'll get on that. They even have the little set statue thing from Egyptian. I'm not sure if James Earl Jones' character would be Egyptian because he's Doom, I think. And I know Doom was in Destroyer, but Doom was played by a completely different actor who looked nothing like. But since they already used Thoth Doom, we just went with that. So, okay, cool.
The riddle of steel.
Yes. You know what it is, don't you, boy? Shall I tell you? It's the least I can do. Steel isn't strong, boy. Flesh is stronger. Look around you. There, on the rocks. That beautiful girl. Come to me, my child.
See, he's demonstrating completely how well he controls all these people without saying that. He's saying flesh is stronger. What he's really saying is controlling people's minds is a better weapon than anything the sword can do. He's saying it in such a way to not demonstrate it. And he's showing his complete control over the situation, over all these people. And the only opposition he has is Conan. He doesn't think of as much because he doesn't realize the level of danger Conan is. But he's also putting in there that he made Conan in a way. But we'll get to that in a second. And just the way James Earl Jones plays his character is to perfection because he was James fucking Earl Jones. So of course he's going to do a great job. Anyway.
That is strength, boy. That is power. The strength and power of flesh. What is steel compared to the hand that wields it? Look at the strength of your body, the desire of your heart. I gave you this. Such a waste. Contemplate this on the tree of woe. Crucify him.
And he just leaves Conan there like he's nothing, like he's done with him. That he's told him, I've made you myself just as I've made all these people. So, like, just this sadistic cult leader. Throthar has these people in the grasp of his hand, and he's letting that be known to Conan without saying it directly. Like, all of this is mine to command, and I created you. Or I gave you your will to live, or whatever the hell. So again, basically, because he didn't create his flesh, he's not his physical father. So again, the whole speech is how, as a cult leader, he's got all these people doing exactly what he wants. He's got their minds focused on thinking the way he wants them to think. And he thinks he's done with Conan because he's chained into a fucking tree and he's thinking he's gonna die. Of course, that doesn't happen in Conan. It's just so fucking tough, he gets out of it. He's got mental and fortitude and all that shit. Okay, he's not the brightest character in the book. In that movie, he's very smart actually. In the actual books of Conan and stuff by Robert E. Howard, but in this movie, he was more just tough. The tough guy who survived. But in that instance, you see how brilliant James Earl Jones is. The way he can convey all of that in that little speech there. And you see how just dangerous this character of Doom is. Throthar Doom is. I think it's Throthar Doom. I don't know. Throthar. It's probably. I think it's like Robert E. Howard, who was using the Egyptian god Thoth. And I don't know, word Doom to it to make him evil, and to make him evil because Thoth was the god of wisdom, but instead of giving him a giant bird head, he gave him a skull for a face. For whatever reason, I don't know. Yeah, there's Thoth Doom, which is more the appearance that they gave to James Earl Jones. Probably because it would make more sense with the story they're telling. I don't know why they just didn't give him the name Thoth Doom, but they used that later in the second movie for a bit character. But yeah, it's fine. It worked well. I have the big wrestler who's been in all this, the movies at that time, who, did that. I forget his name. No, not Max Baird. So anyway, not important. And actually, the thing with the mirrors and the big monster thing that turns into to fight Conan in there was also, again, from a different Robert E. Howard story. Also, again, Cole. Kind of interesting, too. The two biggest Cole moments are in the Conan movie, so that's why Cole has to fight the hot Asian lady who turned into a weird monster in his movie. But whatever. It was fine. Which is also interesting, because there are a lot of interesting Conan villains, but it doesn't matter anyway. Thoth Doom and his set, which is a big thing in the Conan series, his whole fight with Set the evil Egyptian god, and all of his people. That's why the snake is there and all that snake imagery. But we're kind of focused on the Set cult. So it becomes the danger of the cult leader. That is basically what James Earl Jones is playing. He started off as a warlord who was already worshipping Set, but now he's become a cult leader, and he has all these people. He still has the two guys that are these tough sons of bitches that are great fighters and everything. They're still with him. But I don't know if he has all the warlords. Now he's just got people that just believe in all this cultish shit. And you find out later they're eating people. Because, I don't know, they had no food and shit or whatever, because they're making a stew and a skull coming out. So, yeah. It was a really good movie, but, at the end of the day, Conan does kill him with his father's sword. But in that instance, you get just how dangerous this character of Throthar is. And how big of a terror he can be. And how charismatic he is, and how he's able to control these people to do what he wants with his voice. He's saying he's the hand. He's wielding them as that sword. He's getting them to do what he wants by just commanding it. And that made that character that much more dangerous. He was still, his mom was a badassery, not as much as he could have, but still, it was just brilliant. Alright. That's my thing for this whole, what is it called again? Great Scene in Evil, I guess. And I can't really think of anybody else who fits that better. Alright. Peace.